serious story from my library, and I don't know whether I'll give it this month, but I have to tell it now. It's to put it in my library. I don't like your story. I have been preparing this story for 6 months, trying to give it a second time after having given it a couple times in Hong Kong very successfully. It was a story about me trying to do my career, about how I'd been thrown off my career, why I'd been unemployed for so long, and granted, in the early time, it was too difficult of a story to tell. It took a lot of work to come up with some way of telling this story until I came up with this mechanism of constructing my story around my childhood passion for planets, specifically the planets that in the next year, 2015, two dwarf planets, Ceres and Pluto, that would be visited by NASA spacecraft, and making an analogy how these planets in 2014, when I was trying to tell the story, were fuzzy. They didn't have any clear pictures. But in 2015, these planets were certain to be made clear. The story had ups and downs. In August, I got some special help by the leader of the group, but then he thought, a little bit early I thought, that it wasn't going to be ready on time, but he still went and showed that it was ready. The story host clearly thought it was ready in terms of asking the group, but that was vetoed, but I was still a good sport. Went and listened to the other people, and there was plenty of time for me to have given the story, and people asked why I didn't, but I just chalked it up to a mistake and thought, you know, perhaps people are getting tired. I should do a different story. So I spent the next couple of months and I gave a ghost story in October, and then I thought, now it's time to return to my story. In November, I got some very helpful feedback from the host that changed the story quite a bit, such that the host said that my story wasn't ready, even though I think it had been in August. But I thought that was fair. I had changed the story so much for that good feedback that I was ready to really go for the story in December, which was important to me because I really thought that I would be leaving in 2015 January, and besides, I wanted to get the story in 2014 before the year of Pluto and Ceres being visited. December went wonderfully. I started that month that even though it had been a difficult story, difficult personal story, and also with the help of going to a workshop about difficult personal stories, all the stars seemed to align. I was giving the story well. The host gave very helpful feedback and confirmed that I had incorporated the feedback. I'd substantially changed the story. So I was quite confident that it was going to be a go. Until I was told that there were a few too many people, and I thought, well, maybe so. Maybe 8 is the limit. And then the host said, I don't like your story. I said, you can't do that. The principle is we come here week after week preparing a story, expecting that if it's ready, that you won't just say you didn't like it. You were hiding that from me from the beginning. The host got upset and said you should have tried another one, which the previous month's host broke in and said, had to break in and say, he did that. So the host said, okay, I'll ask the leaders if we can have 9 or 10 people, then I'll put you on standby for 9. I said, okay. The next practice went to give the story, and before I went to give the story, was told, I had been told that, yes, the leaders agreed to 9 or 10, but right before the practice, you're on standby for 11. Oh, wait a minute. I was on standby for number 9. I gave the story, and then was told, you can come and stand by number 11. And I thought there was no way. The day before the story, I woke up in the middle of the night and was throwing up. There was no way I was going to go and see whether I was going to have a chance to give that story. But I told the group members that this is a new story, and this is a story that I will seriously tell, here or elsewhere, because I have a story to tell, and I refuse to take no to giving that story.